I'm going over a 14 mists run that I did to try and figure out where I can improve. I think I end this run at like 7.6k, which isn't horrible, but I know I can do better. I've done better, and I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong. So we'll get started here. So we start here. We have the shield up. We haven't rolled. So the first things we do, we already got tricks. We sprint. Mark for death. We should roll, then slice and dice. But we slice and dice and don't roll right away. Now we get lucky with that proc, so we didn't even roll. So that's first mistake. So let's see. We ambush, blade flurry, bow and spike, and then we're on the right target. So we go with the ambush, but then straight into killing spree, trinket, drop the potion. So that's probably the best BTE target, that one. So we finally rolled. Rolling there was quite an issue. So at least no one here dropped. Well, this has been a pull with a death or two so far this week. And it's telling me to roll. And I haven't rolled yet. So we Blade Fury, roll the dice, dispatch. So the next move should be Between the Eyes, Vanish, ambush, killing spree. Then probably Sinister Strike, dispatch, serrated bone strike. So here, it's just basic. So I should be looking to there's a lot of snipes you can get here with Mark for Death. And I got one there. Could get another one there, and another one there. And then we do the Warlock trick. This tank was really annoying. He originally brought a 210 monk healer, and this week, as you can see, is spiteful and grievous. Not a great week for healers, but all right. So let's back that up a little bit. So we come through Alacrity's 10 seconds fine. So we open with ambush. We have tricks up. Immediately serrated bone spike. Between the Eyes. Mark for Death. Dispatch. Another bone spike. Another bone spike. And we pop the trinket. Vanish. Alright, so I think we were worried here that if I went for the Vanish ambush, that I wouldn't have Blade Fury for the last bit of killing spree, which is a pretty common worry for me. Now, we got the roll the bones off. You can't hear it in here, but I have an audio cue every time the roll the bones weak aura says to roll. So, okay, so that was... So we've got 6 seconds left on Blade Flurry. It's about to come off. It's up. So it's 1, 2, 3. Alright. It's only like 2 globals. So it's not the worst thing, but keeping Blade Flurry up is basically like the top priority. Here I'm just trying to cheese damage because the pack's basically over. Now, again, trying to get as much reset as possible. I could have gotten another mark for death there. So it's mark for death, dispatch, and then we'll go... Oh, so we just went vanish, ambush. We're immediately going to killing spree. So it should have been mark for death, dispatch, and then in the global before we blade flurry, then vanish. I do have a problem where I adrenaline rush while I am killing spreeing, and that is a big no-no. Alright, so between the eyes, Serrated Bone Spike, both of them. I've got good rolls here. Now this is a common wipe spot when both Furious Thrashings go off, but this priest just handled it like it was nothing. I think we only die once. Or I think the healer only dies once this whole run, but so mobility is really big here. Just not getting caught in the slow that keeps your DPS up the whole time. So here we should be looking for mark for death, dispatch, Serrated Bone Spike, dispatch on both of the spitefuls. And I could have done that a little bit better. So I marked Serrated Bone Spike him. I am holding my trinket here because I want to do as much damage as possible on the boss, which is normally the move, although a lot of times in keys people expect the rogue to blow the cooldowns on Pride, just because our cooldowns will normally be up faster than everybody else's. But it went down pretty easy without it. I still don't think this was the optimal CD usage for me here. The opener, ambush, blade flurry, immediately into adrenaline rush. I think it worked out okay here, but normally you want to hold that if you think you're gonna one phase it. Or at least that's my thought process on the matter. So it's saying to roll. I roll. Not the greatest buffs. The damage on this boss, I was not expecting to one phase this boss based on the Warlock's performance up until this point, and this they popped the fuck off. The Druid convokes, the Warlock just starts raining all sorts of nastiness. Yeah. That was a pretty solid, clean kill on that boss. Now, normally going into this part of the dungeon, if I'm having a good run, I'm sitting above 8k, and I felt like I was having a good run until I saw that overall number. So I'm not really sure where I fell off. I think it's possible it could have just been because I held cooldowns on Pride. I could have gotten one more usage somewhere in here, but we get the side ads, which is really nice. I'm here looking for. I should have been sniping with Mark for Death. I pop Blade Flurry. Immediately Killing Spree. Looking for serrated bone spikes. Still not good at the whole aiming thing. I should be mindful of my reroll coming up here. Let's see if we reroll quickly. We do. Looking for Mark for Death snipes. Everything is bone spikes. That's good. Ooh, hold on. So, Blade Flurry is off cooldown here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a big problem. That would have been significantly more damage there throughout the course of all of this. Now here I'm just trying to do what I can, bone spike and whatnot. Alright, so everything will be up. We go in Tricks of the Trade. Ideally, might not be ready. So it's gonna be something like Ambush, Blade Flurry, Serrated Bone Spike. We'll do Count the Odds, not Count the Odds. Between the Eyes, Mark for Death, and Dispatch. We should, the second we Between the Eyes, pop the Trinket. And we do. So then we vanish Ambush into Killing Spree. We did pop the Trinket. So we finish the Killing Spree, do another Serrated Bone Spike. We should immediately Adrenaline Rush, Dispatch, Serrated Bone Spike. Yep. And then we'll go back here. We'll see if we did the Blade Flurry corrector, if that dropped for a while. There's one global, not bad. And then here we're looking for that's decent. And it could just be, it might be that because Spiteful keeps us in combat longer, that it is harder for us to get the numbers that we want. Okay, so that was a mistake. So we find the door, we go in. We're supposed to roll, we roll. The opener here is Dispatch. Dispatch into Blade Flurry, into Mark for Death, Between the Eyes, and then potentially Serrated Bone Spike, depending on the CDR. No, it's after Between the Eyes, it's Vanish Ambush. So we open with Ambush, and then Blade Flurry, Between the Eyes, and then we should Serrated Bone Spike, Ambush. Yeah, Killing Spree. Now sometime, again, looks like we're gonna miss a bit of Blade Flurry here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3 globals. Not the end of the world, but not what you want to see. right? So here we got serrated bone spikes coming up. We should snag that one. Snag the shade. We're looking at rolled bones. Needs to go up. We want to get between the eyes on the pride. And we're looking for snipes with mark for death. Snipe. Oh. We don't have Blade Flurry up the whole time. That's important. And we get it up when it's basically not as useful. Having Blade Flurry up is probably the most important thing. Blade Flurry uptime. Actually, I know that's what it is. JPC, one of the rogues that I watch quite frequently, has said that many a time, that your Blade Flurry uptime is basically an indicator of your DPS for the run. Alright, so we're going in with Pride, all cooldowns up. The opener is going to be Dispatch. We're looking, it's over there and I don't notice it right away. Oh, that's the next one. Alright, so we slice and dice. We don't get the Alacrity. That's a bummer. Alright, so the opener's Ambush, serrated bone spike between the eyes, mark for death, dispatch. Wait. Those were Ambush, Blade Flurry. That's right. I wasn't paying attention. One more, and then so this is when we look to between the eyes and Blade Flurry. Oh, it's a lot of globals, dude. So I think the thing I'm learning today is that we're going to have to look into a Blade Flurry weak aura. Which, I mean, no biggie. Here we get this tank saying so many things. So the single target rotation obviously leaves a little to be desired. Good. This is the one that I miss. Everyone's over there. So, mark for death, slice and dice. Should be Ambush, Blade Flurry. And then we're looking for serrated bone spikes. It's a good enough opener. I shouldn't have taken that damage there. They're all healing. We get the passive off the Rachel. So we between the eyes, the highest health target. We should be looking to mark for death snipe lowest health targets. We got one on the right target. I believe that was accidental, if we're being honest. Then we did it again. We should have been looking for Mark for Death on the tender. So again, here we immediately adrenaline rush. We pop the pot. We should be looking for Mark for Death snipes on all of the shades. And then we Mark for Death the Pride when there's still 2 things before then. That's a big not cool. Again, here, normally if we were doing a higher key, I'd be looking for, I'd blow all my cooldowns here, like the whole Vanish kit. But knowing that I want to work on my overall, I opted to hold. I'm still only at 7.9, which is weird because normally coming out of there, if I don't die and I do my opener and I get good rolls, which I have been getting, I'm looking at a lot more like 9K coming out of there. So take a drink of water real quick. I'm not really sure what I missed out on. Hopefully, one of these days, we can get someone a little more experienced to review my VOD review. So, the opener, we should have, if I'm not mistaken. So, we head in here. It should be, we tricks, we pot. It should be Mark for Death, Slice and Dice. But it's not. So, break ons. Oh, that's always a risky one. So we're looking for, yep. It's a good opener. This Frost Mage, I did not expect to be so close to anyone in this key, and he had me on my toes pretty much the entire key. Kudos to you, Mr. Nutty Chomper. Truly a pumper. Alright, so we don't skip any of the phases with dodgeball. I always get really anxious when these guys come out because I bricked a key once going on the wrong one when I wasn't paying attention. So you always want to try and get your Mark for Death on the Illusionary Clone because that'll let you get a few more casts of it throughout the course of the fight. But I think the rule still holds. I get a 5 buff here, and I was very excited for that. The rule is don't hold your Mark for Death for it if it means you'll miss a cast. So it's that we make really good time on this boss and just on this key in general. And again, I'm surprised coming out of this, especially with having the DPS I have on this boss. I was very surprised coming out of this section with under 8K. So, I'm not sure what it could have been. There's a few things that it could have been. I didn't have the right food on. That would have made a little bit of a difference. I'm not sure why I was happy there, but normally you can hear the music and the in-game sounds, but there's a problem with this recording. So, going into the final ad section at 7.6, I thought, I could potentially pull that up to maybe 8 throughout the course of. So we got bone spikes on all of them. We got 1 dispatch off. We Sinister Strike, Vanish Ambush into the Killing Spree, and then before the pistol shot, it should have been Blade Flurry. So it's only 1 global, but again, makes a big difference. So we're looking for making good use of Mark for Death, getting all of our serrated bone spikes off. We should have marked for death to him instead of... Alright, so mark for death between the eyes. One more dispatch, blade flurry immediately. Try and get the bone spikes on the little ads to make more out of it. I definitely panic cloaked there because I thought I was going to get hit. We refresh blade flurry. Between the eyes should go on the highest health target. Good. And then another vanish killing spree. And we're looking for mark for deaths on the lowest health targets, which we did not do. I think another thing that contributed to the difficulty of keeping my numbers up during these polls is we never took breaks, right? So it's more true to the log numbers, which I guess means that, like, relative to it all, it's not as bad. I bet if I compared the logs, this wouldn't be that bad of a run, but it's always a bummer when you think you're doing well and the details does not reflect it. Alright, so here it's just... it's like a lot of unnecessary. So we got 1 Sinister Strike, 2 Sinister Strikes. Okay, the correct amount. Dispatch, 2 more, 3. Okay, so let's go back and see that one more time. So, Blade Flurry, Sinister Strike, Dispatch. We're at 1 combo point. Sinister Strike. Oh, that's rough. Another Sinister Strike. Here I'm thinking things are getting a little dicey. I took way too long to get a serrated bone spike on this guy, which, while not the biggest deal, is still a damage loss in the grand scheme of things. Man, I cannot wait to get someone to review the VOD review, because I'm sure there's going to be so much stuff that I just completely missed. So we're still looking for the ones on the small ones. That way you can get more casts off after those die. And we're looking for the same thing with resets on Mark for Death. But I did not do very well there on that one. But doing it on those pulls, I always feels like is pretty difficult. Not super hard, but... Alright, so there's another... So we're going in here. The goal was get your stealth off. We couldn't because of the Spiteful. So the opener here should be something like Dispatch, Mark for Death, Roll, Dispatch. And okay, so we went for the Blade Flurry, which makes sense, and then we roll, so it's not the end of the world. And then we're looking for serrated bone spike stacks. So here we probably should have between the eyes the Gorger that doesn't have a serrated bone spike on it yet. It's not the end of the world. We get another one. We're looking for Blade Flurry uptime, and we cast it. See, that's a consistent problem, doing a pistol shot before getting your Blade Flurry back up. So that's something that I can work on for sure. Again, we're looking for, at the end of the poll, we want to snipe. We get rolls, Mark for Death snipes. So we're prioritizing serrated bone spike when it's gotta be the other one. Now, we're going in here at 7.7 with one more pole, a pride, and a boss to go. So again, we're looking for serrateds on the little guys, but after we do our Vanish Killing Spree. So then we move out, we get one dispatch, we got another one up, probably could have snuck one more in there. We're looking for the roll. I need to find a better spot for my Dreadfire. So then we're trying to milk the Spitefuls for what we can, get the resets. You could have gotten one more off on that guy if you spun around and tagged him real quick, but you know, it is what it is. So again here, I'm holding everything because I want to blast this boss as hard as I can. Our healer died, which is why he's saying don't pull. Actually, our healer hadn't even died quite then. So we just have to kind of hang out. I snagged some mage food. Looking for the roll right before we go in. Not a great roll. Could have been a worse buff. So we're looking for... We just send it. We don't even get between the eyes up. That's a damage loss. But we're impatient. So... Again, we're just sending it. Normal single target rotation. You know, a lot of people are always asking about whether or not you should go for the 5th combo point if you're at 4, because sometimes Slice and Dice can proc an extra combo point, and it's never the right move. You only go for the 5th combo point if you don't have broadside and you don't have a pistol shot up. But if those two conditions aren't there, then you always go for the 5th combo point, right? So I try to cheese this a little bit, just to milk a little bit more damage. I get the Blade Flurry, Vanish, Ambush, Killing Spree. Pumps me up a little bit, helps in the overall. And that's the end. So overall, keeping Blade Flurry up, potentially looking into a new weak aura for that. I think that's going to be the move. Always remember to Dreadfire after you between the eyes. Making sure that you're aware and utilizing properly all of your Marked for Death and Serrated Bone Spike resets, especially on Spiteful Week. Those are the main takeaways, I think. I think overall this was okay. I've only ever broken 8k once on a Mists run, and I had a Warrior and a Monk. So 7-6 for none of those buffs. I think it's okay, but I do look forward to the day when someone can finally go over this and tell me what I'm missing.